Controlled Chaos here with No Man's Sky introducing the Voyagers update that adds in the Corvette shipbuilding system. I want to go over some of the things that they could add in the future that would improve this system and make it even better. Let's go ahead and get started. Number one, more ship parts. Mainly I'm talking about a couple of things, but airlocks for walkways and habs so that you can connect two ships together and transfer between two Corvette ships. Or to make even look cooler, they can do adjustments to freighters and frigates so that instead of just hovering next to it and teleporting, you can use that airlock system to do that. I think it'd be really cool, really interesting feature to add. More parts that they could add on to that is parts to help blend pieces together. We don't have any angled curved pieces to be able to do like a right curve or anything like that. I'd like to see something like that where it does a 90-degree curve piece on it and just interesting parts like that to make blending shapes together a lot better so we can get more interesting looking ships that look nicer without any hard whole pieces popping out. And I think that's really interesting thing to do. The next one is another part, but this one's an interesting one. It's gunning turrets. These are manned turrets. Think of if you look at the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars. They go up into the gunnery turrets and they aim the gunneries. Imagine, because of the multiplayer capabilities of these Corvette ships, players being able to walk along the halves and the walkways and then climb into a turret and fire that turret and aim that turret. How fun would that be to have a pilot and then someone gunning and stuff like that? Now we add another piece that would add in more multiplayer capabilities, and this is a multi-seat cockpit. So you know Han Solo is always flying around the Millennium Falcon and he has Chewbacca as his co-pilot. When Chewbacca is doing things, he's managing energy flow to different things like that as Han Solo's piloting the ship. The same thing could be done with these Corvette multi-seat cockpits. It can make it so that the pilot's in the main seat and they're flying around, and then the secondary seat, that person is managing the power flow from shields to engines to weapons and things like that. That way the pilot doesn't have to worry about that. They can focus on just maneuvering, and then the co-pilot adjusts all that, and then we have the above mentioned gunning turret where they're focusing on shooting things. But let's take this a little bit deeper, because some recent games that have been coming out for a couple of years is games where you're in this real-time action of firing and attacking things, and then you break off, and then the crew goes and repairs things or is repairing things during the fight internally, and maybe even having to do spacewalks to repair external parts would be a very interesting part of the game to add into this. And the great thing is this doesn't just have to be via combat. They could do mini games of an asteroid or meteor shower going through an area as they're going through a planet or in space. A bunch of meteors fly by and, you know, do damage to the ship. So now you have to fix the damage in the ship and do an EVA to go outside and fix stuff outside, and stuff like that would be very interesting and cool. And the great thing is with this whole entire damage and stuff like that, it helps if you have multiple people, it goes by quicker, but you could also do this solo. It just means that no one's manning the turrets, no one's flying and maneuvering the ship around and things like that. It could also be that this is a good way to use resources, meaning that the players and the crew will have to land to gather more resources needed to fix the ship later on would be very nice. You know, you could need your ferrite dust to fix things. It could take some copper to fix some wiring, a bunch of different things that I could use. You know, you need to make metal plating to repatch the hole. Stuff like that would be very interesting to do for this, and really nice way of doing this, and add more gameplay functionalities. And all of these can compile onto themselves and add so much more depth and new content for players to interact with and do things. But I want your guys' thoughts on what you think about these ideas. Let me know what one's your favorite, or if you have a new one, comment down below. Let me know, and YouTube will think you'll like this video next. Have a great day.